Okay. There we have audio and we got the big webcam. Okay, that's all good. I think audio might be a little bit loud. Okay, that should be better, maybe, I don't know. Okay, let's see what we got. That didn't work though. Okay. Is this working? Let's see. Huh? Okay, great. That is working. Okay. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. And we have. Where? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's hello, Pew. And good afternoon, Abnormals, and welcome back to the Ministry of Abnormality Twitch Star broadcast. I'm your host, Abnormal, and today is Tuesday, January 10th of 2023. The first stream of the year. Yay, and all that. Welcome back to my show. As you can see, we are on YouTube now. And wow, that microphone shows up, goes out. Okay, let me see if I can get it out of the way so it doesn't show up magically. Anyway, first stream of the year. Here we are on YouTube. A little bit of technical difficulties here and there. Basically, do I have something in my beard? No. Okay. I announced something on. Basically, I announced it on the. I had YouTube give the preview of it, and now and when I went to do the broadcast on Discord, on OBS, it kind of created its own thing separate from the other. So I have to figure out how to do that, and I haven't figured it out yet. But we will. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, wait. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Okay. And Mao, hello! Happy New Year, Mao. How you doing, man? Welcome. Welcome, Mao. How are you? How was your end of the year? How was your everything? Okay, let's see. Today we are working on. Okay, we're working on a new image here. Let me check here. How was vacation time? Well, my vacation consisted of wait a minute. Let me just start off here the file. Okay, my vacation was a mixture of updating my portfolio, playing video games, going to the gym, and wait, I gotta sneeze. Whew. Okay, so as I was saying, my vacation consisted of updating my portfolio, going to the gym, playing some video games, although not as much as I had planned. And hanging out with Pew. We watched a few movies. I don't remember if we watched some series before the vacation or during the vacation. But we did. We binge watched a series even. Which one was it? We binge watched the series. Oh yeah, we binge watched 1899. And we saw a few movies. I played a little bit of video games, not as much as I would have liked, but you know, that's life. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, you had a nice food, worked on things and stuff, and now you're ready for 2023. How is 2023 starting, Mo? Okay, let's record. How is 2023 beginning? Okay, so today I'm gonna be working on a cover for a book called Pilgrims with Blades. You guys have seen me make covers for this series before, but this is the one that was missing from the series, which is a half orc called Urgosk. And I'm gonna be basically sketching, making out the proposals for it. Starting out great so far. How is it starting? What has the year brought us? Wow, we haven't seen each other in a while. What about Christmas and all that kind of stuff? Okay, let's see. So I'm trying to figure out here how we're going to begin. Let's just start, see what happens. We watched all the Harry Potter films. Nice. That's always a fun watch. Uh, and now you're just sticking to your schedule. Getting back to my schedule has proved to be quite more difficult than I thought it was going to be. For Christmas, you got wireless headphones, t-shirts, and comics. And for New Year, you had a chef burger. Nice. Did I sleep a little more these past days? Yes, I did. I've been sleeping in uh like a degenerate. I've been sleeping in. Um I've been playing. I've been no. Like I got my rest. Believe me. The only work I did during these 2 weeks was my portfolio, which I struggled with a little bit at the beginning, but eventually it kind of worked out. I'm happy with the result. It's a simple portfolio. What games did I play? I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, while Pew has been playing Horizon Forbidden West. But I also tried out a bunch of games. I tried out, um, I tried out. Let's see, what did I try out? I tried out some Metroidvanias, um, like Moon Scars, and I tried out. Um, I tried out a bunch of Xbox Live games. Um, but mostly, it's Horizon Zero Dawn and a few other lighter kind of Metroidvania games to just kind of entertain. As for Horizon, it's just awesome. It's a lot of fun. The only thing I don't like about it is that you can't just play it for 5 minutes. You gotta you really gotta sit down and give it some time. So it's not always easy to sit down and give it some time. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And now I'm just kind of trying to start the year strong. Unfortunately, Kat won't be able to join us when we start working on Mongoose, because since I have to switch over to this schedule, um, she actually has something that they do at Mongoose on Tuesday evenings. So, so yeah, she won't be able to join us. Um, which is a bummer, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Thanks for the feedback on the portfolio, Mo. Also, thanks for catching those two errors. It definitely gave me a little bit of trouble there for a minute. That WordPress and all that. I was very rusty with Will we get Cat back? Well, for the duration of this semester, it's only when for any reason they cancel. Like if she has any cancellation over at Mongoose, because basically what it is that she has a game night over at Mongoose. So somebody from the company has to be there, and that seems to be her job. But whenever game night is called off or canceled, I hope she'll join us. That's only for the duration of this semester, though, and I definitely want to cut back on classes for next semester because it is becoming rather inconvenient. The whole like the university schedule is becoming very inconvenient. It's cutting into other things I want to do, and so now it's at a point where it's like, okay, we got to start thinking about cutting back at the university. Um, it is what it is. But I am committed for this semester. So for this semester, at least, I have my schedule defined, and it's got to be that. So I can't change for this semester. I'm already committed for this semester. Hopefully for next semester I can. Sabrina, hello, beautiful. How are you? So nice to see you. Happy New Year. Uh, now you have to catch us up. You have to tell us everything about your holiday adventures from Christmas to New Year's to now. Everything. We want everything. We want all the details. As some would say, all the tea, I believe. Your designer skills are super rusty? Oh, I'm sure it's not that bad. Your brother is moving out to live with his girlfriend, so at the end of this month, he will become a strong, independent Mao who needs no one, is empowered. That's great. Oh. Hooray for independence! I love it. Happy New Year! I'm on my phone, so I'm slow to type at the moment. Finishing up putting food in the crock pot. I'll be able to catch up in a bit when I'm back in my PC. Couldn't ask for more. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, how is the stream so far in terms of quality, all that kind of stuff? You know, this is the year of YouTube. Okay, this is our first idea. First idea is kind of a throwaway, although sometimes first ideas you know, work out. But Santiago, hello. Quality is better than Twitch. No lagging, no buffering, no ads. Well, that is about as much as we can hope for, right? Okay, so let me show you a little bit about this project. This project that we're working on today is for Pilgrims with Blades. So for Pilgrims with Blades, I have made several covers. There's this one that you can see right here. I think this was the latest one that I did. And Pilgrims with Blades are... there's several characters. So this is the dwarf. Here is the Alice, I think is her name. The elven sorceress. We have Crusoe, the human paladin. And so we basically made these covers over a year ago, I believe. And yes, this is for Famine. And so now the one that is missing is Urgosk, the half-orc. So I'm working on... Today we're going to be working just on the sketches and the ideas. Getting, like, ideas for this cover. And I'm actually going to open... let me grab a version with the header, so I can put it in and we can start seeing how it's going to look with the header. Let's grab that. Where is it? Should be nice and... Wait, something's wrong. Okay, no, wait. Okay. What? Oh. Okay, where is that header? Do we not have it? Guess we don't have it. No, wait, there it is. Okay. So yeah, let's just put that there so we can start looking, you know, at what it's gonna look like. And yeah, today we're just gonna work on the proposals, on the ideas. for what we can do with this cover. I'm going to explore several different ideas, polish up the ones that I like. So we're keeping it simple first, you know, getting those very, very obvious ideas out of the way first. So, what is new this year? What did you guys get for Christmas? What did you do on the 24th? Sorry, on the 31st? All the things. Wait, and I do have an old cover that I did for this. Let's look it up. Where would that be? Where would I have that cover? Uh, where would I have that cover? The old cover of Urgosk. Gotta be somewhere around here. Um, let's see. Copyist, how old is that old cover? How far back are we? Oh, wow. It is old. How far back are we going? I think 2016 was the last time I made this guy. Yep, 2016 was the last time I worked on this fella. And here it is from 2016. We can do better. We're gonna do better. I mean, hey, it's been 6 years. Wow. 6 years. Okay. Yeah, this was 6 years ago. Can you believe it? We're just gonna hang a bunch of stuff here. I'm not gonna stay too long on this idea because this is like the simplest idea. But we're not gonna stay very long on it. Other than that, what I said before, I haven't really had vacation. I just kept working, made a new schedule for drawing time and more and exercise, saving money for the living alone part. Ah, but you're gonna love living alone, Mo. Very, very exciting. Okay, and this one is gonna be the one that we. Yeah, he's got like a drinking flask, and I have to keep that one. Drinking flask is very important to this character because he drinks quite a bit, actually. Okay, that's idea one. Let's go with idea two. See what we're gonna do for idea two. I have a question about the YouTube rules. Can we curse in here and say weird stuff, or will you get in trouble? You know, I honestly don't know. I know YouTube is a lot more strict with cursing. So. But. I don't know what the rules are specifically, to be honest. Like, I don't know that. I think we have to look into it. Okay, where is... I have the description here. Yeah, yeah. I saw that too, that they updated the rules and definitely looks a lot more strict now. But I'd be lying if I said I know what they like what they are. Because I don't. For now I think we can just I mean the stream is labeled as adults only. And for now I think we can just kind of if we just keep it we could just be ourselves and not do like anything weird as in I don't really think it would be that difficult to just keep it where we don't get banned. Like, we're not really doing anything controversial here. We do sometimes have dirty conversations, but honestly, whenever I see like all those rules about all the rule changes and everything that YouTube is doing, I don't really feel like it's something that would limit us very much. All things considered, I would say we are definitely an adult stream, but not because we have adult contents, just because we, sometimes. In all honesty, I think that we are more adult, not so much because of adult content, but just because we don't like kids. And I think that's what makes us adult more than the content itself. Okay, do I have any reference images of somebody yelling? Sergio, sorry, Santiago. I'm Sergio. You're Santiago. We are listening to a Spotify playlist of Twitch Stream Safe music And the artist in question is called Carl Casey. Officially back in my PC, so I can keep up with conversation. How did I catch up? We did absolutely nothing. I used to cuss watching the new Avatar, which wasn't holiday related. What did you think of it? Of the new Avatar, I mean. Doing nothing is the best. Uh, yeah, it's beautiful but the same, but I am glad I watched it. I thought it was very. I did think it was very worth watching because it is like it is beautiful but the same, but the amount of beautiful is quite. For New Year's, New Year's we wanted to get like some really special food. Like we had our mindset like on Middle Eastern food, and it didn't quite work out, and we ended up getting pizza. So we had pizza, and we watched. What did we? What did we watch? Do you remember what we watched? I know we watched something. We watched something. We watched the movie. I don't remember which one. Mm, now the thing is, okay, so here's the story. Story time. So we had these, like, this plan of like, okay, we're gonna stay at home. We're gonna have some pizza, watch some movies. About a shitty gaggle of girls sitting behind us. Oh wait, okay. About a shitty gaggle of girls sitting behind us in the theater talked the entire time, and the kicker was they laughed at the sad scene. Oh, okay. So apparently, YouTube, if you curse, YouTube holds it for review. Okay. Mm. Dan said he would be embarrassed by you? Aw, oh, come on, Dan. Edmax, Happy New Year. Um, so, okay, so our plan was, okay, we'll watch some movies, we'll, eat, lots of food, and basically just have fun here together. But, here was our mistake. Here's our mistake. The day before, as the days got lazier and lazier, um, we were here the day before, so on the 30th, and that day we decided, okay, we're gonna go out to dinner with our friends to celebrate New Year's. And that day for lunch, we were very, very, very hungry. So we ordered something that is called lechon. Now, lechon is basically traditional Colombian food where they grab a pig and they stuff it with rice and stuff, and they cook it inside the pig. And so we ordered that. Like, we ordered takeout of that. And we were very hungry, so we ordered a lot. And the thing is, since it was rice, when we were eating it, we kind of didn't get the message that we were full. And we ate too much. Now, it was delicious. It was delicious. But the problem is that it was very greasy. It was very, very greasy. It's a very greasy dish. So that night we had dinner with our friends. That wasn't that greasy. And on the 31st, we were both just not okay. Like, our digestive systems were not okay. So we spent the 31st sick, like stomach sick. I don't remember what we watched on the 31st. I don't know if Pew remembers what we saw on the 31st. But we were sick. We were basically sick on the 31st, and that was that. So that was our New Year's, and so part of it was just, okay, we had a pizza, and we had like a couple of slices of pizza, and that was it. And part of the 31st was spent watching the movies. Oh yes, we watched Violent Night, and we loved it. Well, I loved it, and Pew, well, I think she also loved it. I thought it was awesome. Violent Night was so good, so much fun. Yes, we do have two bathrooms, fortunately. So we watched Violent Night. That movie is so good. I recommend it so much. It was a lot of fun. And part of the 31st we spent surprised at our upstairs neighbors, which moved furniture, jumped around, yelled shit. Like, they were noisy in a way that, like, we just didn't know that our upstairs neighbors were that noisy. So we had a very, very noisy evening. Oh, and then, because we were sick, once Violent Night was over, and I'm not kidding, we just stayed on the sofa, lamenting our stomachs, and watching a mixture of YouTube fail videos and YouTube win videos. That's what we did. So yeah. Oh, Bullet Train is so good. Highly recommended. Oh, yeah, it was pure romance. Pure romance. The next day, we just kind of... It's funny because our original plan was that the next day, on January 1st, we were gonna, we were gonna get work done, exercise, we were gonna... read. we had like all this bunch of plans that we were gonna do on January 1st because it was January 1st. So yeah, like, let's start the year right. And we ended up on the sofa all day and binge watched 1899. But in our defense, we did go for a walk. So We went for a walk and then spent the rest of the day on the sofa. The challenge incident. Do you mean when you got addicted to watching the challenge and watched, like, I don't know how many seasons of it? No, we binged 1899, and I don't regret because it was fun, and I just enjoyed kind of like vegging out on the couch with Pew. Like that was fun, that was great. But the show itself, I thought was I thought it had more promise than what it ended up delivering. At one point, so you know how these shows that are like mystery shows where you never know like oh, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? So there's shows like that which are like Lost where they answer like they don't answer any of the questions and you just end up like dissatisfied because they never answered all the questions. But then I think 1899 is worse because 1899 did answer the questions and the answers just weren't very satisfying at all. I was like, oh, that's it? That's what's going on? No, no. I heard about the plagiarism accusations as well, but I wanted something to watch, so. Been rewatching The Walking Dead because I have an abusive and toxic relationship with that series, and it finally ended. So I want to see that dumpster fire. I think I've told you guys before that I tried The Walking Dead, and it was just too human. Like I didn't like that it was just too human for me. I I wanted more zombies, less people. So I didn't really last. I didn't even finish one season. Like there's too much drama here. But something we did a New Year's resolution that has been going strong for us. so far. Although, I mean, we're only 2 weeks into the year. Um, but a New Year's resolution that we had that we've been sticking strong to that I know Sabrina would appreciate is that this year we made the resolution. Well, I made the resolution because Pew has a much better reading rhythm. Reading rhythm. That's a difficult word. Okay, Pew has a much better um, um, rhythm for reading than I do. But basically, my commitment this year is one book a month. Um, and we've started strong. Like I've already finished this month's book. I've started my second. So Sabrina, I was yesterday. I was selecting my next book, which is already selected, but you know. And I was remembering that you had recommended some horror books for me in the past, and I can't find where I wrote it down since the move. Um, I used to have it at my desk, but when I moved, it kind of disappeared. So I was wondering if you could Yes, I do have a Goodreads. You made me open one. I actually, yesterday I registered the book that I finished. My first book of the year. The first book of the year that I read is called Masters of Doom, and it's a book about how Doom, and basically it's not so much about just Doom, um, but about um, how id Software got made and basically the rise and fall of id Software. Fascinating book. I give it 5 stars. I highly recommend it. Nat Class, hello. How are you? Wow, it's so nice to see you. Happy New Year, Nat Class. Ooh, thank you, Sabrina. I'm on Goodreads. So is Pew. Um, on Goodreads, you will find me as I think Abnormal. Let me see. Let me find that. Goodreads. Oh yeah. I'm gonna be doing YouTube this year. Uh, okay. Wait. Let me see if I can find. How can I? How can I find people on Goodreads? Okay, wait. Profile. Okay, so here's my Goodreads profile. And friends. Let's see if I can add friends. So how do I add new friends? Oh, add friends. Okay. Add friends. Okay, if I put in Sabrina Brady, let's see. I'm not a robot. Okay, this can't be you. This person has like a ton of kids. No, that's not you. Uh, there's one in Atlanta. There's a bunch of them in Ireland for some reason. What about Floriana? Nobody with the name Floriana Brady. Well, I guess I'll just wait for you to add me. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I absolutely loved the book. and now I'm reading. I'm reading Starsight from the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. And Pew is currently reading The Witcher. And it's a lot of fun. Every night when we go to bed, we read for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It's great fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. Plus, it's one of those New Year's resolutions that's easy to maintain and makes you feel good, so... Well, Pew is the one that's reading them right now, so she would have to tell you what she's thinking. So far she's told me that she's been enjoying them, but I don't know. I don't know what else she would say about them. So, Edmax, what are you up to? How's the year starting for you? Okay, let's continue. I don't think I need you anymore. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, a pickup side raid. I'm trying to keep my reading very simple in the sense that like just grab a book, read it the end because I'm a little bit out of I hadn't been constantly reading for a while. So, I'm a little bit out of kind of practice. You watched Forrest Gump? Okay. I mean, sure, there's a New Year's party in Forrest Gump. For New Year's, we actually looked up a list of like what movies to watch on New Year's, and one of the recommendations was Forrest Gump. I wonder if that's why you were watching it. And that's the book you're reading because Handmaid's Tale is slow, right? Does Forrest Gump still hold up? Oh, that's a great question, Matt class. Yeah, Mux, does Forrest Gump still hold up? Oh, you're reading Handmaid's Tale as the pick me up. Oh, okay, okay. You're waiting for the 30th to go on your first trip outside Spain. Sorry, 20th. Why the 20th? I'm struggling to get back into the swing of things. Still not done with this dang book. Ah, we've missed you too, Nat class. What did you do? What was your end of year like? You know, what did how did you celebrate it if you celebrated? Oh, that's cool, Edmonds. Um, we also have plans to travel this year, but one thing that happened this year is that everything is more expensive this year. Everything. So plane tickets this year are insanely expensive, like just insanely expensive. So what we're gonna do this year is I'm gonna sell my motorcycle. I'm gonna buy a new motorcycle that is more appropriate for traveling, right? Because the motorcycle I have right now, the Royal Enfield Classic 350, is it's a beautiful motorcycle. It's a lot of fun, but that thing is not meant for long travel. So you like if you travel on it more than a couple of hours, you start hurting because the motorcycle vibrates a lot and it's very heavy and it's not the safest motorcycle. So our plan this year is we're gonna sell the old motorcycle and buy a motorcycle that's more fit for long travel. And instead of going anywhere on planes, because plane tickets got insanely expensive, we're going to um, go to different parts of the country in the motorcycle. Mm, Akate is the distributor. Um, so so I've been looking into the different possibilities of motorcycles, and wait, I'll show you the two possibilities that we're down to three possibilities right now. I'll show you the motorcycles that I'm considering for and that would be the okay. So the motorcycles that we're considering right now are motorcycles that are meant for long travel, right? So one of them. Okay, so right now, like the biggest candidate is this one, which is called a Victory Zontes. Um, this one we like because it it's like super equipped with technology. Like this one has like like just a bunch of features, like for example this the windshield can go up and down. You can, like, it measures your tire pressure. Like it's just meant for what we want it to do. So this is one of the candidates. um the other candidate, wait, I'll show you. The candidate that's competing the most against this one is I'll show you. Is this one. Um, Called the XRE 300. It's it's not as pretty as the other one, but it's basically meant for long travel. Um, Very fuel effective, all that kind of stuff. I think this one is a lot nicer, but this one is a very strong candidate for long travel. And the other two options we have are this one, the Venom, which we like. It's just not really like it's a good motorcycle, but it might not be super intended for long travel. But it's a very pretty motorcycle. And this one, which is the same problem. This one we love. I think it's a beautiful, weird looking motorcycle. Uh, but also not really meant for long travel. So right now my biggest options are this one and this one. But actually tomorrow I'm gonna go um, check them out. See what they're like, see how they feel, and then I just have to sell the one I got. And yeah, the idea would be the idea would be to, like, maybe once a month or something like that, or once every couple of months, uh, go to the countryside or stuff like that on the motorcycle. Yeah, the last two are very pretty, but since we're thinking about taking trips on them, that's something to keep in mind, right? Like you wanna make sure that you got a motorcycle that's gonna be well equipped well equipped to take a trip on. And that's where the first two are definitely like better options. But I'm gonna check them all out tomorrow. See what's what, see which one we like best. and definitely no cars. Like that's not even being considered. So whatever happened to those Goodreads uh, um, friendships? I don't know. I don't know what to call them. Okay, what is my good friend? What is my Goodreads name? My Goodreads name is Obsidian Abnormal. Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Ooh. We got we got we got friends. Yes, I don't have. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna add a profile pic. Okay. Okay. Uh. See if Okay. Oh no no! It's asking me for a password to do that. No no. But I can say what I'm current. I can say what I'm currently reading. Hmm. Where do I do that? Um. Wait, what? Um. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'll add what I'm currently reading later tonight. Any movies that I'm interested in watching this year? Um. Hmm. Oh well, I I find myself not getting that hype for movies that much anymore. I still watch them, of course, but I don't get that hype for them anymore. But this morning we did watch a trailer that we immediately agreed that we wanted to watch. And if you guys haven't watched the trailer, I highly recommend it. It's called Reinhardt. Um, Now I don't know if you guys remember Reinhardt um, from Dracula, right? Wait, let me confirm that I'm getting it right. Reinhardt. No, wait. No, no, no. Sorry, sorry. Renfield. Wow, got that completely wrong. So this morning we watched a trailer called uh, Renfield, and I don't know if you guys have read Dracula, but Renfield is like Dracula's human familiar, like the human that he has, like in London, that gets him stuff and basically just sort of is his human servant. So the movie is called Renfield, and uh, um, it's like a vampire comedy, and the trailer is yes, and Nick Cage is Dracula, and I am so in. I am I am so in for that movie. Well, okay, we haven't seen Glass Onion yet, but we did see mm, Knives Out. So haven't seen Glass Onion yet, but did see Knives Out. Um, we also saw we saw Violent Night, we saw Knives Out, we saw Nope. Uh, what else did we watch? And with all the reviews it's been getting, did I like Knives Out? I agree with actually my favorite film reviewer is Jeremy Johns, and I agree with what he said about it, which is the movie is good, but Ryan Johnson is not as clever as he thinks he is, and I think that is how I felt about Knives Out. It's like yeah, it's good, but it's not as clever as he thinks it is. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Did I see Babylon? No, no. What did I think of Nope? Honestly, my opinion of Nope is honestly I don't get the hype for Jordan Peele movies. I don't. I like. I'm sorry, Mr. Peele. I know you're a big fan of the show. I know you're watching. Um, um, I don't get the hype for Jordan Peele movies. None of them, none of them have been bad to the point that they bothered me. But I think Get Out is overrated. I think Us was kind of disappointing and boring after a certain point. And Nope was like, hey, here's something that could be interesting, but we're not going to show it in an interesting way. I just don't get the hype for Jordan Peele movies. It's. I thought Nope could have been so much more interesting. Um, and like Us, to me, Us was so disappointing. But again, not bad enough for me to like walk out of the theater or something. But just like okay, the idea of doppelgangers is so fascinating, and I just don't feel like the movie really did much with it. We did see like a list of horror movies, and there is one I want to watch that I think Mao mentioned the other day that was Barbarian, and we saw the trailer for it, and it looks really interesting, and I want to watch it, but it looks like a legit full-on horror movie. So, like, you got to be in the mood for that. I mean, I don't know you guys, but like horror movies is like a state of mind. You have to like, okay, I'm in the mood for a good horror movie tonight, and then you watch it. It's not like an everyday thing, or at least not to me. Uh, ooh, the doppelganger, love it. Maybe he was better at the Key and Peele show. Absolutely, Key and Peele would make me laugh so much, but but he has not yet managed to make me afraid. I also wonder why the other guy is never in any of his movies. Like, what? Why is he never? Like, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to like start stirring up any gossip or anything. But why is that guy never in his movies? That guy's awesome. That guy's great. Last time I saw, oh, we saw Prey. We saw Prey. I think we saw it yesterday. But yeah, last time I saw that guy was in that really bad Predator movie. The same thing happened to us with the quiet with a quiet place. Like I really really enjoyed a quiet place, and then Quiet Place 2 was so disappointing. And it's like, okay, no, we get it. You made a good horror movie. Let's move on. I'm also afraid that Jordan Peele is gonna follow the same uh, M Night Shyamalan route, because think about it. M Night Shyamalan gave us uh, um, Sixth Sense, awesome movie, um, horror movie. Then he gives us Unbreakable, which everybody's expecting to be a horror movie, and no, it's just a weird movie. And then he goes Aliens. And it's not really a horror movie, it's more like a sci-fi movie with a couple of sprinklings of horror. Now let's look at Jordan Peele. He gives us Get Out, which I think is overrated, but everybody thinks is an awesome horror movie. Then he gives us Us, which really isn't a horror movie, it's just a weird movie. And then comes Nope, which is aliens with a little bit of horror sprinkled in. So, I think Jordan Peele's next movie is going to be his Lady in the Water. Which I can see somebody liked. Ooh, what is it? Is it? Oh, that sounds like something interesting to watch. Did you watch Old? Or wait, was it called Old? Because I didn't want to watch it. It looked like it was going to be too stressful to watch. And I don't really know what he's up to these days. What is his next movie? I do think he's been doing better ever since he stopped like putting his name front and center in all his movies. Like, I'm gonna have to adjust this. What is a horror movie that really did it for me? 5 out of 5 stars. That's a tough question, Sodina. Horror movie that really did it for me? 5 out of 5 stars. Oh wow. Okay. Hmm. Huh. I'm gonna go with Jamie with Pew. I think I don't have a 5 out of 5 horror movie, but I think Haunting of Hill House would be my favorite horror piece of entertainment. Unfortunately, I disliked Bly Manor so much that I didn't even finish it. But no biggie. Oh, I you see that's my problem, Ermax. I have a lot of 4 out of 5 stars horror movies, but they always ruin it somewhere along the way. Give me a second. Somebody's sending me a message saying it's urgent. Don't worry. Let's not freak out yet. Um, wait. Let's see. Give me a second. Oh, I should pause the recording. And, uh, okay. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. A friend is asking me, like, hey, I need to upscale some images that. So, what is the best software for upscaling an image? Um, okay, back here. So yeah, I have a lot of 4 out of 5, like horror movies. For example, It Follows. I thought It Follows was really, really good, except they kind of didn't really stick the landing, right? Like It Follows was great, but I don't really think that they stuck the landing very well. Um, uh, Same thing goes for, let's see, what other, what other, let's see a list here and see what um, let's see, oh, damn. Yeah, I thought It Follows is 4 out of 5. They ruined the ending. Uh, I actually saw a recommendation for a movie, a horror movie on Netflix called Incantation, and I'm very, very intrigued by it. I wanna see what that movie is about. No, that's the thing. Like, you know, 4 out of 5 movies are just fine, right? Like, yeah, I'll watch a 4 out of 5, no problem. But they always kind of, like ruin something on them, and I think that's because, in my opinion, horror is much, much better suited for for shorts, right? Like a short film. I think horror is much, much better suited for a short film. I remember when I saw oh shit, which was Lights Out, right? Lights Out, the short for Lights Out was just brilliant. It was so good. The movie just did not work. That movie was made to be a short. Um, so, for example, VHS. VHS is a great horror film, but not all of it, because VHS is a bunch of shorts. So some of them are really good, and some of them are not. Um, yeah, that's one of the things. A monster that gets defeated just isn't scary anymore, right? Like you can't have a monster and have the monster be defeated, because then it's like, okay, well then. Have you ever watched Nat Class? Have you ever watched Primer? Have you ever watched Primer? Because the thing about Primer is that Primer is a time travel movie that does time travel right, but in doing time travel right, the movie is so confusing to the point where you start to feel like it's not that you're not getting it, it's that they're not explaining it very well. But it is an interesting watch. It is a very interesting watch. I would recommend it if you're into time travel. Unfortunately, I can't say I think it's a fun movie or anything like that. It's just interesting. Yeah, the thing about Primer is that eventually it becomes more interesting to just try and figure it out than the movie itself becomes a lot more interesting to try and figure out the movie than watch the movie itself, which is like, well, I mean, okay, I guess that's one way to, you know. Wait. Okay, now we're going into options that are not necessarily just the character looking badass, right? I'm laughing because I know that I'm making the face that the character's making as I do it. Which is something we all do, but do I have career goals for 2023? I do, in fact. Um and I can share them with you. Of course, they're not what an asshole it would be like, yes, I do. DM, I'm not telling you. But no, I do. Okay, career goals for 2023. One, YouTube channel. Definitely want to do a lot with the YouTube channel. That is a work in progress, though. Pew is helping me with that. She's helping me with that. Like, right now behind me, I have a green screen. Like, you can, so Pew is helping me with like production stuff and ideas and all that kind of stuff. But yes, YouTube channel is probably one of my biggest things for 2023. And I mean, here we are right now on the YouTube channel. So that's definitely one thing for 2023. Another thing for 2023 is I want to expand my role-playing game portfolio. I've already started with that. So I don't mean the games that I play. I mean the games that I illustrate for. And that has already started. Unfortunately, that's not the kind of thing I can talk about in terms of, like, I can't tell you what games I'm going to be illustrating for, but, you know, I've started that. You know, I want to expand my role-playing game portfolio. I want to definitely put a lot more strength into my Patreon. Unfortunately, Wizards of the Coast has decided to make things difficult. So right now, anything that has to do with D&D materials is kind of sort of on hold because of all the things that are happening with Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons right now. So yeah, that one's gonna have to wait until we see what's gonna happen there. But whether with that or just with the YouTube channel or just art in general, the putting a lot more strength into the Patreon. We'll just have to see what Wizards of the Coast is gonna let us do. You all know what I'm talking about, right? Or do you guys need me to? Oh, no. I'm gonna, like, that mini, I actually have to contact the 3D artist this week and tell him, like, hey, send me the files, and that's it. Like, that is done. Like, that is done. And that part of the project is not getting discarded. It's just under what? Right? Like, under what we're gonna be doing it moving forward. Because of the problems with Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so I'll explain, but I hope I don't bore you guys. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me pause the video because, okay. So, now, as you all know, Dungeons & Dragons has editions, right? And when 3rd edition came out, I think it came out like in the year 2000 or somewhere around there. 3rd edition came out with something called the OGL. And that is the Open Gaming License. Back then it was called the D20 license. I don't know if it's still called that way, but whatever. Now, what the Open Gaming License would do is that you could create contents using the Dungeons and Dragons rules, publish it, and make money off of it. Yet, like, the rules, the basic rules of Dungeons and Dragons were open for anybody to use and create their own contents. That happened with 3rd edition back in the early 2000s or 2000. I'm not precise on the exact year, but that happened back then. Now, that was great, and that created a huge boom of publications because now people could create their own adventures, their own, supplementary materials, all that kind of stuff, publish it and sell it, and they didn't have to worry about getting a rule set that people would use because they could use the D&D rule set. So that was great, and it caused the hobby to just grow incredibly. Now, what happened then was that Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition came out. I think Dungeons & Dragons... I can't remember the year Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition came out, but I think it was 2008. Something like that. I don't know. But when Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition came out, they didn't give it an OGL, right? It didn't have an open gaming license. And most people didn't like Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. So what happened then is that since 3rd edition had OGL, a lot of people said, well, then we're just going to continue making our games with Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition and its OGL. And that, for example, is where Pathfinder was born, right? Pathfinder came from Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition closing down the OGL and them saying, well, we're just going to stick to Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition. It's simplifying it a little bit, but basically it was, hey, do you not like Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition? Do you wish they stick to 3rd edition? Here's Pathfinder. It uses 3rd edition rules, and that's where Pathfinder comes from. Anyway, Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition doesn't last very long, and out comes Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And that's the one that is currently active, right? Like the edition they have right now is 5th edition. So 5th edition brings back the OGL. So again, you can create material using the D&D rules, publish it, sell it, make money off of it. And the only thing you can't do is use Dungeons & Dragons IPs. So, for example, you can't use certain monsters that they have. Like, for example, the Mind Flayer or the Beholder. Those are registered intellectual property of Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons & Dragons. Of course, you can't use the name Dungeons & Dragons and all that. But the basic rules you can use. And what that has done is that the industry around third-party publishing with Dungeons & Dragons has grown tremendously. And so you get not just Pathfinder, but a bunch of other things using the D&D 5th edition OGL. One of the biggest examples of that would be Critical Role, which has also published its own game setting. It published some books actually with Wizards of the Coast, but it also has its own books published, and the Critical Role show and everything. That is using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition OGL. Now, up to that point, everything is great, and we're talking about up to a couple of weeks ago. But what happened? The people at Wizard of the Coast decided that they're going to bring out a new edition of Dungeons & Dragons, but they consider it to be the final edition of Dungeons & Dragons. And that would be, they're not calling it Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition, no, they're calling it 1D&D. Now here comes several things into play, and one of them is VTTs. Now VTTs are virtual tabletops, of which the most known, I think, is called VTTs, that would be the most known is open source. It's so there's Foundry Virtual Tabletop. There's Roll20, which I believe is open source. Fantasy Grounds. Now, these are systems that allow you... Tabletop Simulator is a kind of VTT. But Ooh, Sabrina, that is awesome. Thank you. Actually, you know, Sabrina, I have Hail Mary. We bought Hail Mary a couple of weeks ago. So there's something. I'll definitely okay. So virtual tabletop simulator is a kind of, yeah, it's a VTT. So these are systems that allow you to play virtually a tabletop role playing game. There's Roll20, there's Fantasy Grounds, there's Foundry. These things use avatars, icons, maps, all that kind of stuff. And the idea is that you can actually use a VTT to play with people remotely or to handle your game and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, what happens? D&D announces that their next edition is going to be called 1D&D. It's not 6th edition, no. It's, wait, what is happening with the music? No, okay. So, D&D announces that they're going to come out with 1D&D instead of 6th edition. And 1D&D is basically 5th edition, but with a VTT tacked onto it. And right then and there, a lot of people that are big into D&D, such as myself and some of you, we're already raising an eyebrow and saying, wait a minute. The next edition of D&D, 1D&D, is going to be very, very focused on being an app, a virtual tabletop. And the idea that they have is that D&D as a license is severely, and this is their words, like this is something that they said, D&D is, according to them, severely under-monetized. So the idea is that you buy this virtual tabletop that would be 1D&D, and I mean, you just know that they're gonna, microtransaction the crap out of it. And that, hey, if you want the kobolds, you're going to have to buy the kobold set and stuff like that. Now, this is all speculation, but they did say that they consider D&D to be under-monetized, and they do have 1D&D coming out, I think it's by next year. And we do know that it is going to be a closed environment, right? So if you want to play 1D&D, you have to basically pay probably a subscription to 1D&D, and you're going to have to buy, all the things and all that kind of stuff. Now, up to that point, part of it is speculation. We know 1D&D is coming. We know what it's going to be. We just don't know how they're going to monetize it. But up to that point, it's, okay, let's see what happens. But then, what happened a couple of weeks ago is that Wizards of the Coast announced that for 1D&D, they are changing the open gaming license. And here's where the problem gets really, really bad. Because now they're going to come out with OGL 1.1. Up until this point, we've been using OGL 1.0, which, like I said a few times before, but just for the sake of clarity, allows us to publish and make money off of things that we make using the D&D rule set. Open D&D, right? OGL 1.0. Now, 1D&D is going to come out with OGL 1.1. And they actually haven't published it yet, but OGL got leaked like a couple of weeks ago. And the problem is that the new OGL, first of all, shuts down VTTs, which does kind of make sense considering that they're making their own VTT. So, if they're making their own VTT, they don't want other VTTs in the game. So, it's shutting down other VTTs. Now there's a lot of conditions to publish using the D&D rule set. Some of the conditions, for example, are that if Wizards of the Coast considers that any of your content goes against any of their rules, and that includes, for example, the rules on discrimination, on inclusivity, and all those kind of things, they can shut down your publication. Now, up to that point, you would say, well, no problem. I'm not a racist. I'm not a sexist. I should have no problem. Yeah, but the standards that they've been setting are a little bit iffy. For example, we're talking about the company that said that orcs were racist. So orcs have to be changed. Or for example, they said that race as a word in their game should not be used anymore. So it's not so much a matter of if you think these things are okay or not. Like, hey, if you think orcs are racist, or if you don't, whatever. The problem is that it becomes a standard that it's very, very difficult to maintain. Right? Like, I might say, yeah, I agree orcs are racist. Let's not use them again. Gnomes, however, and oh, no. Gnomes can't be... You know what I mean, right? So that becomes very difficult. But then there's other problems with it. Under the new OGL, Wizards of the Coast can use your materials that you publish with their OGL for anything they want, and they don't have to pay you or even ask for permission. Which means that if you publish something with the new OGL, Wizards of the Coast can just grab it, use it however they want. There's nothing you can do about it. And there's some other things. If you make more than a certain amount of money off of your publications, Wizards of the Coast now takes a cut. Now, we are talking about a lot of money. I think it's above... I don't remember there's like categories. There's like 4 categories. One is if you make under a certain amount, you're all good. We don't care. Another one is above a certain amount, you have to give them a certain percentage. And the other one is if you make more than $750,000, you have to give them 25%. Now, of course, that doesn't affect somebody like me, but then people like Cobalt Press, Critical Role, they enter into that category. Absolutely. What question do you have in that question? Hey, Ray, King, how are you? Ah, here's the thing. Sorry. Now, here's a very important thing to keep in mind. The new OGL 1.1 is not actually out yet. It got leaked. It's not out yet. It got leaked. So that means that from here until it comes out, they can change it. Right? They can change it. So at the end, this might be like one of those situations, because this is a business tactic that has been used before, maybe not by them, but by other companies, where they put out a horrible OGL, they let it leak, people see it, they freak out, and then they come out with the OGL that they actually planned, which is still bad, but not as bad. And so people are more willing to accept it because, well, you know. So that's a lot of conspiracy theory, right? Anyway, now, again, the new OGL is not out yet. It's leaked. But in the leak, the OGL does nullify OGL 1.0. Now, there has been a lot of discussion online of if they can actually even do that, right? Because OGL 1.0 does say kind of that it's forever. It's in perpetuity. So there's a lot of people online saying that they can't just nullify OGL 1.0 because OGL 1.0 was to be maintained in perpetuity. But there's 2 things to keep in mind there. One, even if they can't legally do it, there's not a lot of us that can go into a legal battle with Wizards of the Coast, right? Because that's going into a legal battle with Hasbro. So, if they try to nullify OGL 1.0 and you decide that, well, you can't legally do that, where you're getting into a fight that, like, I mean, you don't have the firepower for that fight. Second, and this is more important, is since OGL 1.1 would apply to 1D&D, you can stay. I mean, let's say that, for example, oh, okay, I'll just stay with 1.0. Okay, but then how much of the audience is going to move on to 1D&D? And that's where it becomes a huge problem, because if you say, okay, I'm not going to move on to 1.1, I'm going to stay with 1.0 over in 5th edition, but your audience all moved on to 1D&D, which has the 1.1 OGL, then you, as a creator, get left behind. Because your options are to either stay with the older things that maybe people are not using anymore, or go to the newest version where you have to take the new OGL. Now, like I've said a million times, this was leaked. So the official OGL is not out yet. They might change it when it comes out. It might be completely different. But for people that publish things with the OGL, everybody right now is in okay, what's going to happen? Everybody is in a wait and see kind of attitude because, okay, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? So everybody's kind of waiting to see what the definitive OGL is going to be, because right now the leaked OGL is making everybody go, shit, we can't do stuff with D&D rules anymore. No, the problem is that so many things use OGL. I'll tell you. Like just like, okay, Pathfinder uses OGL. That includes everything like Pathfinder and Starfinder. That I know, I know Critical Role is OGL, but Critical Role is a heavy hitter, so they might probably have some separate negotiation with Wizards of the Coast. The biggest one would be Pathfinder, and I know Kobold Press has most of its products using the OGL. Now, the thing is, right now, what people are doing, and I actually like this, is that what people are doing is that they're saying, okay, this is a great opportunity for games that are not these games to get the support that they deserve, right? And there is plenty of games that don't use OGL. But it is a lot more games than you'd think, right? So yeah, that's kind of the situation with that. And so in my case, where I was planning to publish maps and items and character sheets and stuff like that, I'm basically waiting to see what's going to happen with the OGL. Now, like I said, the one that I already created, the mini, it's going to come out next week. It's all good. I'm just kind of waiting for everybody to come back from their vacations and stuff so I can publish that thing, and that's going to go there. But in terms of future plans regarding that, it's like, okay, let's wait and see what Wizard of the Coast is going to do, and then we'll decide from there. So that is the extremely long story. I'm sorry if anybody got bored. But that is the extremely long story of what is going on with Dungeons & Dragons and the Open Gaming License. And why a lot of the people that publish, like a lot of the independent role-playing game publishers are kind of freaking out. Worst case scenario happens, how do you think you might pivot? I don't think it would be much of a problem for me because I don't have that much material at all published. So for me, it would just be a matter of I can either make it. I think my best choice would be to make it platform agnostic. So what I would do is I'd probably just make it like I'd publish the characters with a story and the basis for you to adapt it to the rule set of whatever game you want to play, right? So, you know, I'd publish the character, I'd give the character a backstory, you know, guidelines for you to adapt it to your rule set. And that's it. And I think that actually might be a better idea in any case, because that way it doesn't really matter what game you're playing, you can adapt the character to it. So I think that would work in my case. But that's also because I've only made one map and it doesn't even have any rules to it, and that would be it, right? But it does, like, for example, one of the cases that is really, really bad is a lot of people that, for example, have been working, like, imagine, for example, a lot of the people publishing stuff that have been working for months and months on a book, and the book is due to come out next month or something. And I've seen a lot of creators that are kind of just all on hold to see what happens because they spent like a year making a book or making a game supplement or whatever, and now they don't know what's going to happen with it. So that's definitely not a good situation to be in. Yeah, as for me, it's like, oh, okay, great. We're not going to do any specific D&D stuff. I actually prefer it that way. So, and I'm glad to see that you guys seem to prefer it that way too. Yeah, no, this is really bad for people that are that have been working for a while. I saw one. I saw one independent publisher. I don't remember her name. I think it's called the Arcane Library or something like that. And she was talking about how she's been basically working. Like she had a book that she was going to come out with, like this month, and she basically she has to redo a lot of the book. And for somebody like Pathfinder, like it's totally a matter of like, you know, hold your breath until you know what they're gonna do, because Pathfinder is completely built on D&D's OGL. So their options are either come to an agreement with Wizards of the Coast, pay them 25% above, pay them 25% of anything they make above $750,000, or remake the entire rule set to something new. That's a pretty tall order. And the thing is that the reason most people use OGL is because making one of these things is not easy. And having the rules already done is a big deal, right? Like, Like just making and polishing the rule set is not an easy task. That's just not something you do like in an afternoon. It requires so much work. Not just coming up with uh um not just coming up with new rules, but for example, playtesting them. Right? You got to playtest your entire game. That takes time. That takes money. That is not an easy task to just make up your own rule set. How did they put it back under copyright? Well, Clip Studio was in its own little mess last year, and I think one of the only reasons that Clip Studio has managed to sort of get people to stop talking about it is because um, people got very distracted with the whole AI debacle. So and let's not forget that the whole AI thing is not over either. So that is not a fight that's over. Oh yeah, all things considered, like what Clip Studio Paint is doing is like one of the least evil things I've seen. Like, if I got to choose, I would rather just pay a subscription to. Like, if you told me, okay, you pay a subscription to Clip Studio Paint and AI goes away forever, but well, great. That's what I'm doing. Man. I do like that Clip Studio Paint had planned to add AI to the program, and people made such a huge stink about it that they called it off. Yeah, that was definitely good. And that's the thing. Like we can't shut up about it. We can't let them win. Um, Flip Pseudo Paint has like I agree that Flip Pseudo Paint is a great program and it offers great value. Um, I just think that Clip Pseudo Paint has a really, really bad PR department, or at least a PR department that doesn't know how to deal with the Western part of the audience. But then again, I've seen that in Korea it hasn't gone down well either. But yeah, like Clip Pseudo Paint, for example, when they announced the whole thing with the subscription, they were just very, very, very unclear about it. The writing of the whole thing was very, very confusing. It's just something that could have gone a lot better if they had handled it a lot better, and they didn't. So I think that they need to learn to communicate better with their users. And that happens with a lot of things. Like, for example, with everything that I was saying before about OGL and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people, for example, are going against Critical Role because Critical Role hasn't said anything about the OGL. So a lot of people are saying that means that Critical Role is in favor of the new OGL rules and stuff like that. And hey, I'm not a Critical Role fan, but you know, they're probably just keeping it quiet while they figure it out. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you shouldn't stay quiet. So yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the news, I guess. Now for the weather. Oh, the weather's very simple. Beautiful day as long as I don't have to go out. If I need to leave, it rains. That's that. That's the weather. D&D has always been confusing for you, and this has added another level to it. For all its faults, D&D does have a lot of things that make it like D&D has uh for example, a lot of things that are for beginners and stuff like that. So if you're really into the idea of starting D&D, you can probably get yourself a book that's meant to be for beginners, like an easy starter book, stuff like that. They're actually very, very good at that. D&D is very, very good at getting people into it. And a lot of people say that D&D is an excellent, and I agree, by the way, that D&D is an excellent starter RPG. As in, you start with D&D, you get a hang for what role-playing games are and how they work, and from there you move on to the role-playing game that gives you what you want. Right? So, I've heard a lot of people kind of explain it that way, and I agree. I agree that is a... I agree with that way of seeing D&D. It's a great starter RPG. You get the hang of it, and then you move on to the RPG that gives you what you want. And there's so many. Like, there's so many. D&D is not even the most popular RPG in every single part of the world. There's actually parts of the world where other RPGs are more popular. The biggest role-playing game in Japan, for example, is Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, I'll agree to that one, Mo. But even if you want fantasy, like there's other options, right? Like it's D&D is not the only fantasy game in town. It is the biggest, and I do think it is the best to start. I do think that starting off with D&D is probably one of the better options to kind of just get the hang of it, and also because D&D has so many good options for people that are just starting out. It literally has starter kits meant for that, right? Meant for people that are just starting out. It literally has that. But there are so many there is a role playing game out there for anything you could ever want. Like I am almost certain that, well, maybe not all, but most of your favorite sci-fi or fantasy IPs have a role playing game. Like you can what do you want? Do you like The Witcher? The Witcher has a role playing game. What do you like? Do you like Star Trek? There's a Star Trek role playing game. Every single like there's just so much stuff you can play. I mean, I'm sure you can find plenty of IPs that don't have role playing games, but even then, you can just grab pre-existing role-playing games and do what Key Ink says. You can homebrew. Okay, I'd have to adjust this. But I really like this one. And here's the thing. Like, there's a role-playing game for everybody. And what if it's like, oh, yeah, no, I would love to play role-playing games, but I just have nobody to play with. Guess what? There's even role-playing games that are made to play by yourself. Like, yeah, there are role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, that are meant to be played alone. They exist. Yeah. There's role playing games that are meant to be played with two people. You can play online. Role playing games you can play with Alexa? Wow. Oh, I didn't know about those. Wow. For this holiday season, we actually were considering getting Alexa for our house. But eventually we decided against it because, well, okay, Ermax, have a great. Well, it's probably very late for you, so have a great evening. See you next Friday. So we actually we considered getting Alexa for a house, but the thing is, our houses don't have like any kind of heating or anything like that. So, and Amazon is not that big a deal here, as in, like I can't order, like, if I need toilet paper, I'm not gonna order it through Amazon or anything like that. So basically, if we had Alexa, it would be something to ask questions to and maybe have it play music, and that was it. So eventually we decided against getting Alexa because we thought, like, okay, we're not really gonna get our value out of it. Yes, we are having a Friday challenge. I don't know what it is yet, but we will have it. I like this idea. This idea, I'm feeling strong about this idea. Okay, let's see what we got so far. I think I'm gonna make another one, but let's see what we got so far. Oh, wait, I'm gonna put this one here into number 4. Wait. Let's make another one before we call it. Let's see. Oh, he's a barbarian. He drinks. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. So, okay, those were my career-related goals for 2023. Expand my RPG illustration reach, work for more RPGs. Grow my YouTube channel. Grow my Patreon. That is it. What about you guys? What about you guys? Don't make me like don't leave me hanging here. What about you guys? I'm trying to keep them few, simple, and focused. That was because I decided to follow Mao. Mao gave me, well, Mao didn't give me advice, but Mao said something about keeping his goals few and focused. And I don't know, things seem to be working out for Mao. I mean, he's alive. That right there is quite. You got to admire that. Yeah, I mean it's amazing. Okay, Ray, it was so nice to see you. I'm gonna be streaming on YouTube from now on for the time being. I'm gonna be streaming on YouTube, and the new schedule is gonna be Tuesday and Friday. If you want to hang out. Next Friday we have the art challenge, so. Oh, actually, that reminds me, Sabrina. I have to post. Pew made a nice little reel about the updated portfolio, and I was gonna make a post on social media, basically saying that this time of year is a great time to update portfolio because there's normally like a little bit of a lull in work this time of year, so it's a great time of year to update portfolio. Awesome. I hope to see you then, Ray. Good luck. Okay. Okay, let's make sure. I'm excited about trying out that book though, the Project Hail Mary. But the way we choose books in this house, like which book to read next, is we actually make a list of all the books we have available to read, like our list of possible books to read next, and we literally roll a d20 to see which is the next book. So I have here my list that I chose from yesterday, and I'm gonna read to you. This is the current list of books. I also have to look into the horror books that Saudina recommended to add those to my list. But yesterday, this was the list that I rolled a d20 and got Starsight from. But Snow Crash, which I started but haven't finished. So Snow Crash, Predator Cities, the Mistborn series, Dresden Files. By the way, if it's a series, it's just like read the next book in the series and that's it. Dresden Files, Hyperion, Deathgate Cycle, Warhammer, John Carter of Mars, Project Hail Mary, Good Omens, Starsight, Star Wars, Rama, uh, any one of the William Gibson books that I have here, Dune, and the Stormlight Archives, and one that is like not really a book similar to any of those, but I've been wanting to read Atomic Habits for a while. So yeah, that's how we choose books. Oh wait, and in there, wait, why is? Oh yeah, yeah. I'll wait. I am missing here, and I didn't have it on that list yesterday. Ah man, it's a book called Slaying the Dragon. So the first book I started with this year is called Masters of Doom, and Masters of Doom is a great book about basically John Romero and John Carmack, and how they started off their careers, how they eventually got together to make id Software, and uh, started with Commander Keen, and eventually made Wolfenstein, and eventually made Doom, and how later on they made Quake, and how that kind of started breaking apart the company. And John Romero went off to make Ion Storm, and John Carmack stayed at id, and how basically everything changed from then, and where they are now. Um, I absolutely loved the book. Like um, yeah, I just absolutely loved it. It was so interesting. I'm normally not one to read nonfiction, but it was just so good. Okay, the running is good, but he just really doesn't look very, how to put it. I'm gonna go with dignified. I'm gonna go with the running does not look very dignified. He looks kind of derpy in his run. Like he looks like he's not running with a lot of dignity. And considering that he is a badass barbarian in the middle of rage, I don't think this position is gonna work. Right? Like derpy is not what I was going for. He looks like one of those people that like run funny, that you watch them run and it's just kind of funny to watch them run. That's what he looks like. Okay. How am I doing on time? 15 minutes left. Okay, so Any feedback on streaming on YouTube and stuff like that, or are you guys okay with this? Because I am gonna try to improve the, the stream itself. Maybe create some new overlays, stuff like that. But for now, I'm kind of sticking to YouTube. Yeah, it's just running is a derpy thing. Oh, that's awesome, Nat Class. Very glad to hear that. We really missed you. So okay, and I hope everybody's okay with the switch over to Tuesdays. I just I can't do anything about my schedule right now, unfortunately. Hopefully, I will be able to. Oh well, thank you, Kyle. I normally use a little bit more complex overlay, but um, I changed some stuff in my setup, and I still haven't been able to get the overlays to work. And I figure it's just a good opportunity to get some new overlays. Okay. I want to change this arm. Maybe bring it a little bit more slower opacity on that. I think this arm might work better. 2022 was definitely an odd year. Well, how is I mean, I know you're still very much full into finishing book mode, but is 2023 starting off on the right foot, I guess, could be? A lot of 2022 was just one big lumped mistake for both Dan and I. We are happy to move forward. I like that. Well, honestly, right now, my biggest hope for 2023 is that I don't have to move this year. That's like, okay, I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of stuff I have to do, I want to do, but we could just not have to move this year. That would be, that would be awesome. Thanks. Ooh, that is definitely something I wish you the best of luck with, Sabrina. We will definitely be uh, rooting for you. How many copies of the book you're gonna order? Wow, wait, what happened there? Yeah, I can see that. I can see that definitely being a source of. Well, one thing I've heard. Now, I don't know if this is going to be helpful at all, so I do apologize if what I'm about to say is not helpful. But one thing I've heard is that sometimes it helps a lot in those kind of situations to think about things in different terms. So, for example, a lot of times, um, again, I realize I don't know if this is helpful or not, but this has helped uh, me. For example, I'm not stressed, I'm excited. Or in your case, I'm not stressed, I have doubts. Right? And a lot of times, because the way we tend to define these things, like we just define them all as stress, and a lot of times that doesn't help. Now, based on no information, what number sounds good to you? Well, I can tell you from when we printed our books, back when I was doing that. Um, you won't have to decide the number. So the number won't be so up to you as you think. Let me explain. So when you're gonna send the book to print, there's gonna be a minimal amount that you can print, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at how much it costs to print the book, based on stuff like, for example, okay, now these aren't exact numbers, but let's say, for example, that you can only print minimal 100 books. Okay. And at 100 books, it's going to cost you, let's say, $100. These are just random numbers, right? Okay. But then you see that if you print, so that means that each book is going to cost you $1. Okay. But then you see that if you print 1,000 books, each book is going to cost you 25 cents. So, a lot of times, what we would do with the books that we would print is that we would find that point where quantity and discount would balance out, right? Because a lot of times, printing 100 books, just again, random numbers, but just printing 100 books would cost you just marginally less than printing 1,000. So a lot of times it's better to go for those very cheap prints and have more books than what you need, because also you want to have enough books to send out. Because that's the other thing, when you print books, a lot of them are not books that are going to get paid for, right? A lot of them are books that you're going to send out for review, or you're going to send out as a courtesy, or that you're going to give away, or actually you have to have a bunch of extra books that you want to keep in storage for later, right? So you don't want to so all you got to do is, once you see the prices of the books, you look at your budget and you find that balance between minimal amount and how much you're going to save if you print more. Now, of course, don't print 1 million copies, but you're probably not even going to have to decide it in terms of a number that you just assign to it. You're just going to look at it and say, 100 books is too few. To be no, 100 books is too few. You're not going to print 100 books. If you're going with a printer, a serious printer, you're not going to print 100. You're going to print more. Can't really tell you how many books you're going to print, but I can tell you you're going to print more than 100. Don't be scared by the numbers. Don't be scared by the numbers. Actually, what you do have to figure out is, and this isn't meant to stress you, but what you do have to figure out is where you're going to put all of them. Because you are going to have serious storage issues with all these boxes of books. But trust me, you're not going to make 100. You're going to make a lot more than that. And I don't even mean this in terms of like because I don't want to be, I don't want to have any false optimism. You know me, I'm the tough love guy. But no serious printer is gonna print you 100 books. So you're gonna print more than that. But don't worry, it's not as expensive as most people think it is. And when it's like, oh, we're gonna print 1,000 books, it's not as much as you think. And again, you're gonna see that with the prices that they have, it's gonna be like, oh well, if I print 100 books, it's gonna be more expensive than if I print 1,000. That's something that happens with printers. Now, again, the numbers are very random in what I'm saying, but you will find that like, oh wow, if I print 100, it's gonna be more expensive than if I print 1,000. And that happens. That happens with printers. So when you get that big number, don't be intimidated by it. Just think about, oh, okay, how many books am I gonna give away? And you're gonna give away a lot. Like don't forget that you're gonna give away a lot of books. You're gonna be sending a lot of books for just people that you want to give them to, for review, for all sorts of things. So you're gonna give away a lot of books. Some books, remember that most printing places are gonna have, I don't know what it's called in English, but in Spanish it's called a macula. And basically they always print books taking into account that a certain amount of those books are not gonna be good, right? They're either going to have ink problems, the color's going to come out wrong, it's going to have a problem with it, and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to have a bunch of those. And that's normal. That's normal. That's not something you should worry about. There's going to be a bunch of poorly printed books. And poorly printed books doesn't even mean that the book is a disaster and you can't read it or anything. Poorly printed books means that there's one little defect to it. But if there's one little defect to it, the book is no good, that is lost. So that's a certain amount of books. You don't have to pay for it, by the way. If the printer has books that are imperfect, they still give them to you, but I mean, unless it's like the whole production was lost. But you're gonna get a certain amount of books that are part of that group of books that are misprints. And again, it's not like, yeah. There's the books you're gonna give away. There's and there's the books that you're gonna want to keep in storage for later on. Especially you, especially you that you do conventions. So you always want to have backup books, right? You always want to have books for later on. Why? Because this is going to be your first book. You're going to sell a certain amount of that book. Later on, you're going to make another book because it's going to happen. So later on, you're going to make another book. And then when you come out with that book, you can offer a package discount with the earlier book. So, okay, like you can get this book for this much money, but for this much money, I'll give you this one and the first one. So you want to have extra books kept in storage for later on. You can use those books as a package. So, again, don't be intimidated by the number of books. 100, too small. That's no good. You're gonna want more. You're gonna want more. And again, don't think even for a second that you're going to get a certain amount of books and you're gonna sell every single one of them. And if you don't, that's a failure, because that's not how it works. You're gonna get a certain amount of books. You're gonna sell some of them. Another amount of them is to give away. Another amount of them is to save for later. And the other amount of them is you don't know. We'll see, right? So don't measure your success with the book on if you sold every single one of them, because that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, that's not very smart. You want extra books. So don't be so concerned with getting a small number that you can sell all of. Plan a little bit ahead and know that you're going to need extra books. And just know how many books you need to sell to break even. That's it. Also, start... but you already have experience with this, so it shouldn't be a problem for you. But start figuring out packaging and mailing. The other thing you have to start figuring out is your signature. I know, this sounds like a very insignificant thing, but you need a signature that you can make quickly. And again, I know this is going to sound absurd. This is going to sound like something you shouldn't be worried about. Once you get the books, make a plan for signing. Why? Because it is absolutely possible that you can sit down and spend so much time signing books that you end up with wrist problems. I've seen this happen. For real. For real. I've seen this happen. People that end up fucking up their wrists because they sat down for 3 days straight to sign books. So, like, you know, once you get the books, how many do you have to sign? And make like a plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna sign 50 books a day while I watch this series, stuff like that. All that kind of stuff. You have books to make a little sketch in for people. People love that. At conventions, people love that. You make a little book, you make a little sketch into it. And a good idea for conventions is to have pre-signed books. Because, I mean, you've been to conventions. People love it when you bring out the book, you sign it, you dedicate it, to this person, to that, okay, here you go, thank you very much. But if you start getting a line, it's not a bad idea to have pre-signed books. Another thing that is not a bad idea is to have books that you've already made little sketches into. So that way I can go like, hey, I want to buy the book. Oh, great. Here we go. To O from Nat class. And look, it's got a little sketch. And then you leave some books that are not signed for you to sign and sketch into them live, because people love that. So yeah, and of course, as always, let me know, and if you've got any questions, let me know. Um, so yeah, but hey, don't worry about it. You'll do fine. Don't be intimidated by the numbers. Um, just let your budget and all that other stuff guide you, and you'll do great. And 100 is too little. But that's gonna be it for today. Now, I hope you guys had a nice beginning of the year. I am quite happy with the ideas I got to present to my client, also known as Famine. I'm gonna present to him these ideas. We'll see where it goes from there. Um, Now, this was his first stream of the year, so thank you so much to everybody for joining me, for hanging out, and all that kind of stuff. Next Friday, we will have Art Challenge. Now, remember, we changed the streaming schedule. It used to be Wednesday and Fridays. Now it's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays because of the university. Yes, I'm still at the university. I always say that I'm going to get out of the university. Hopefully, I'll do it this year for real, but I haven't done it yet. So for now, we're going to do Tuesdays and Fridays, and next Friday is going to be our first art challenge of the year. What is going to be the topic? I do not know yet, but we'll see. So for now, oh, and we're going to continue on YouTube, so I hope that's okay with everybody. But for now, you have been watching the Ministry of Abnormality Twitch Live broadcast, and I've been your host, Abnormal. Today has been Tuesday. Wow, I almost said Wednesday. Today has been Tuesday, January 10th. Of 2023. I will be back on Friday with the art challenge. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you had a great end of the year. I hope you're having a great beginning of the year. And be sure to join me next Friday for the art challenge. Until then, good hunting, stay naughty, and I'll see you Friday. Yep. I don't really know what I'm allowed to say here anymore, so I'm just gonna let's just keep it simple, I guess. Yeah.